Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today we are very happy because we are welcoming back Sierra, who's a birth mom who placed through our agency back in 2016. Sierra has previously shared her story of what life was like placing her son for adoption, and today we're going to talk about what life is like after placement. So we'd like to welcome Sierra
Hi.
and her fiancé, Maurice. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
So Sierra, I think people will often just focus in on the moment that women and men choose to place their child for adoption. And what we're excited to talk about today is what happens after placement, right? It's been now, what, five years
Yeah.
since you placed. Talk to me a little bit about how do you navigate life as a birth mom, specifically with potential relationships? When you're meeting someone new, do you talk about the fact that you've placed a child for adoption? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So it's definitely scary, but one thing I will say is going through this process, like doing things with the agency and talking about my story, it's been helping me be more open.
Yeah.
So because I've been more open, I've gotten more confidence. So I've actually been very upfront about my whole situation, honestly.
Sure.
So with Maurice, when we started dating and he asked me about my kids, like, hey, I have two, and I straight up told him, like, so I want you to know this is something in my life that is important to me.
Sure.
And it's gonna be a constant thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with that? Like, that was a thing, because I'm not going to bring anybody into my life that's not gonna be able to handle that.
Sure.
But I also don't want someone to not know. Like, what if he didn't know? He fell in love with me, and then you have a son, you know? Like, I didn't want to do that, because nobody likes a pop-up kind of happening in life like that. So for me personally, like, because I know 2 or 3 years ago, I wouldn't have like shared that kind of information with somebody. I was trying to just date.
Okay.
But because I'm at the stage where I know I'm dating to marry, it was like, you gotta know what you're getting into, because if you don't and then you can't handle it, that's gonna be more stress on me, and then I also don't want to hurt another person.
Sure.
So that's how I've been navigating it. It's kind of like I'm thinking of my feelings, and then how the other person will kind of feel.
Sure.
If I didn't tell, or if I'm at least give him a choice.
For you, Maurice, how did that feel when you initially met Sierra, and you go through those initial questions, right? Who are you? What do you do? Do you have kids? Like, how did you respond when she told you that she had a son that she placed for adoption?
When she told me, I understand the situation that she was in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew she wasn't gonna be. She told me she wasn't gonna be able to, take care of her, her two kids. So I just, sat there, understanding, and I went with it.
Sure.
And I told her a couple times I wouldn't mind meeting him, spending time with him, get to know him a little bit.
Had you ever known anybody who placed a child for adoption?
No.
Okay, so this was all very new to you. Well, and obviously you're a really great guy, because you, didn't judge her, it sounds. You didn't kind of...
I'm not a judgmental person.
Sure. Were you confused at all about what open adoption looks like? Because sometimes people know what adoption is, but they don't really understand what does an open relationship look like.
I kind of had a feeling about it.
Yeah.
Until she explained it to me, then I knew what it was.
It sounds like open communication was really important. Like, you were very honest with him. You talked through the reasons why you placed, and you were very receptive to that. What did that mean for you to know that Maurice was not judging you, very accepting, very willing to kind of take this on and learn more about your son?
Oh, he doesn't know, but I felt like immediately after that.
Oh.
Because how the issues I've been getting from, random people.
Yeah.
Like the backlash that I get, I made a bad decision, and it's just, it was really nice, because I did have that small panic attack telling him, because I'm like, okay, he's gonna be like, yep, yeah, you're too much, I'm gonna go. But he sat there and he was like, well, why'd you do it? I'm like, oh my God, you're asking asking questions. You're understanding. Like, he asked, like, how everything works. Do I talk to him still? Do I talk to the family? And that's how he got to, well, can I meet him? Like, he asked these questions instead of just being like, you did what?
Sure.
And that was such a breath of fresh air to me. And that also showed me that he actually cares, which that's very hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. When you learned that she placed a child for adoption, and I know it was at the beginning point of your relationship, but like, how did that help you see who Sierra is? Like, did it kind of help form like your idea of like what type of person she is, the character she had? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it opened up. She opened up, and started thinking about how she would feel. She didn't have to.
Sure. Well, and it takes a lot of strength to choose adoption, right?
And
so
she's a strong black woman.
So it kind of added into to why you care about her.
Yeah.
Sure. Had you shared, or do you share with any of the people in your life that are close to you when they ask you about your relationship with Sierra and kind of who she is? Do you share that she's placed a child, or is that something that you keep, to Sierra to decide who she's gonna tell?
Well, my mom asked, but she, told her that she had put her up for adoption, and she understood the situation that she was in.
Sierra, I'm curious, when you in 2016 were pregnant, choosing adoption, I know you were not in the best position in life. Had you envisioned what life would be like down the road? Like, had you thought about what life would look like when you enter a new relationship, and what that would feel like, having to kind of talk about the emotions of placing?
So that journey did a whole 360, because in 2016, one, I was, with his father. So it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna figure this out and then go from there. It was kind of like I gave up.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, whatever I get is what I get. And I thought that's what I was getting was their dad. I was like, okay, I'll just make this work. And then again, like, just learning myself again and being more open and kind of it's like that courage to just do what I want to do, and I know what I want now. It changed because I went from, I deserve what I want and I shouldn't have to settle. Yeah. And then I definitely shouldn't have to settle just because I made a choice to better someone else's life. That's how I look at it.
And you deserve to be happy.
I do deserve to be happy.
Sure.
I am happy.
Well, and people don't realize that birth parents, when they place, go on with life, right? They enter new chapters in their life, whether it's, getting engaged or having other children, like things will happen. Have you shared the news of your engagement with the family yet, who has your son?
I wrote them a letter.
Okay.
And in the letter, because I was thinking about telling her on a video call, but I was like, it's not really. I have this thing with like physical touch.
Sure. So
that's what the letter thing was about, because I was like, we're doing videos and he can see me, but he can't. Like, there's no kind of energy transfer between us, and I'm really like into that right now. So I was like, I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna touch the letter. Then I'm gonna send it to you guys. Like I sent Sam a letter. I sent Santino a letter. And I sent the whole family a letter.
Oh wow.
So I sent 3 letters and pictures, and she like emailed me back. She's like, I couldn't write back because I need to tell you right now. Oh my God, congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Good.
Sam like is so ecstatic, and she's gonna help me plan. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so great.
So they're happy and excited
They're
for you.
so excited. Sam like actually said, if you need help with anything, like because like this is my first time getting married. So she's like, no, just let me know what you need help with. You got any questions? I'm like, I don't have anybody else. So that was the thing, is like, I'm thinking about it. I didn't have anybody else to have that experience with, because I don't think I know a lot of people that are married besides my brother. It was another breath of fresh air, because now I have somebody to talk to about like the plans and stuff, and that's already done it.
Well, and I think that shows like how strong your relationship is with this family, that you are able to turn to them at such an important moment in your life to share that good news with. So that's really nice to hear.
Sam says to me all the time, she's like, you're our family. Like, and that's why I'm so I was excited to tell them. It wasn't like oh yeah, I gotta tell Sam. It's like, oh my God, I gotta tell Sam.
Yeah, sure. Maurice, I'm curious, like, so birth parents can sometimes not have a great, like, there's a stigma still associated with them within society in general, right? What advice would you give to someone out there who is just learning the news that somebody they love and care about placed a child for adoption? Like, how do you not judge people? Like, what advice would you tell them about that initial hearing the news? Because that can be overwhelming for some folks who don't know much about placing a child for adoption. Like, how do you be as kind and accepting as you are? Having an open mind kind of deal?
Have an open mind, ask questions, don't judge.
Yeah.
Judge.
Sure. Well, and again, I think that shows like your personality in general, that you don't judge people, which is nice. But that's important for people to remember. Ask questions. If you don't know what that looks like, don't immediately judge somebody for placing their child. Like, ask them what that looked like. Why did you choose adoption? What does your relationship look like today? Ask those important questions so that you can get better information. Sure. And then finally, Miss Sierra, talk to our audience of like women and men who choose adoption sometimes can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? What will life look like in a year from now, in 5 years from now? Talk to us about how do you have hope? How do you keep that light alive of like, things are gonna be okay. Life will go on, you will be happy again.
So I will say it's hard because obviously at the beginning of my journey, everything was wrong. Everything was bad. Everything was going down.
Yeah.
And then I had to kind of think, like, I still have to go on for my son and my daughter. So it went from me just kind of existing, because I'm like, I have to be here. And then it goes to, I have a purpose. Like, my kids are going to watch me grow. Like, I'm going to watch them grow. And when I had that mentality, it was kind of like, I'm not going to have my kids watch me be miserable,
Yeah.
So it's like, let me try to at least have a life worth, like, them worth seeing.
Sure.
And I definitely didn't want them to see me miserable, sad, and kind of hold up and being antisocial, especially my daughter, she's with me.
Yeah.
So kids pick up on their parents' habits. Definitely didn't want her to be like that because she's already very social.
Sure.
And I'm like, I want you to be a normal kid. And I know like later on with her, because we're very open with her, it might become a thing later because I know, you know how she talks about her brother. So it's like, it's going to be a thing later, but because I'm kind of growing as well, it's just like, I got to keep going. I got to keep growing. And then it turned into, this is my life too.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do things to be happy. Like, I don't want to just be here living. So I just want, it literally just transformed from, I was very sad, and then I thought about my kids, and I thought about myself, and self-care and everything has been a huge motivator for me, because we weren't taught these things when we were younger.
Sure.
So learn them now and take it on top of parenting. So I'm also like kind of trying to teach her also.
Sure.
While it's a lot of learning, and because I like to learn, it's like, it's good for me.
Well, and growth, right?
Yes.
So when you first came to this agency, you were very overwhelmed, very scared of what will this look like. But for those who know you, you've put in the work. Like, Sierra really tries, and she shows up, and she's very self-aware. She's gone through all of the grief and the loss and the processing of what happened, and I think that has allowed you, in my opinion, having known you the last 6 years, to grow into this just beautiful person. You have a beautiful spirit. I mean, we're all so happy to see you happy. I mean, getting engaged, having this family life, I know that's always been a dream of yours. And, on behalf of Adoptions from the Heart, our community of folks who have seen you over the last 6 years grow, we're really happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a journey.
Absolutely. And thank you to Maurice for continuing to put that beautiful smile on Sierra's face.
Always.
And we want to see wedding photos.
Of course. 2024.
Thank you so much, guys. Again, as you see, life goes on after placement. You can find your true love. Be happy. Do what works for you. We're so proud of Sierra. We welcome Maurice to our little AFTH family. Thank you so much, guys, and tune in next week.